Born in 1945 in Maseno, a quiet place along the shores of Lake Victoria, a child arrived into a name already heavy with history, a son of Jaramogi Odinga, one of Kenya's founding voices, men who spoke when silence was safer and dreamed when dreaming was dangerous. From the beginning, his life was not ordinary. It was shaped by the weight of independence, by the echoes of struggle, and by the expectation that history never spares the sons of giants. He left home and traveled far to East Germany, where he studied engineering in the world of machines and precision. He learned discipline, but destiny was not preparing him for something far less mechanical and far more human, the engineering of nations and the rebuilding of broken trust between people and power. When he returned home, Kenya was changing, but power was tightening its grip. Under the regime of Daniel Arap Moi, fear became language of governance, and in that language, he was often spoken to it directly. Detentions came, silence was imposed, years were taken without trial, without certainty, without mercy, but silence did not end him, it shaped him. In 1990s, when Kenya's streets began to speak again, he was there. During the Sabasaba protests, when tear gas filled the air, Hope stood unarmed in the street. He stood among those who demanded a new Kenya, a Kenya that could not breathe, a Kenya that could not choose itself.
Leo ni tarehe 7 mwezi wa 7, kwa Kiswahili inaitwa Sabasaba. Ni siku muhimu sana katika historia ya taifa letu. Siku hiyo ndio sisi tulikuwa tumeshikwa, mimi, marehemu Charles Rubia, marehemu Kenneth Matiba, tulishikwa na serikali ya Nyayo. Siku hiyo tukawekwa ndani, manake tulikuwa tunasema tunataka multi-party ili vyama ziwe katika taifa letu. Baada ya Wakenya wengi kuumia, wengine walipigwa katika Nyayo House, wengine walipelekwa magerezani, wengine walikuwa na wawa, ili Wakenya wawe na uwezo ya kuunda vyama vyao. Tulisema kama ni mbaya ni nini? Tukasema sisi hatuwezi kukaa katika giza kwa milele na milele.
The struggle for multi-party democracy was not a moment. It was a storm, and in that storm, he became one of its most visible flames.
Freedom is coming tomorrow. Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom. Freedom is coming tomorrow. Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom. Freedom is coming tomorrow.
But politics once opened does not become simple. It becomes a long road of shifting alliances, broken promises, and constant reinvention. Friends became opponents, opponents became temporary partners, and through it all, the battle for leadership became the battle for meaning. In 2007, Kenya reached one of its darkest political moments. An election dispute turned into a national crisis that took the country to its core. Communities were divided, families were torn, a nation stood on the edge of itself. And in that moment, history demanded restraint where anger was strongest. From the crisis came a fragile unity government, and he stepped into the role of Prime Minister, not as a victor, but as part of an easy peace that tried to hold a broken nation together.
Mimi, Raila Amolo Odinga, naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu kwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya na kuitumikia kwa moyo wangu wote, na kwamba nitahifadhi, nitailinda na kutetea katiba ya Kenya kwa mujibu wa sheria iliyowekwa. Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie.
Years passed and elections came again, 2013, 2017 and 2022. Yet through every circle, he remained at the center of Kenya's most defining political conversations. Then came moments that changed the tone of politics itself. The handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta marked a shift from confrontation to reconciliation, from rivalry to attempted unity, from pressure to pause. It was not the end of politics, but a reminder that even deep divisions can find moments of stillness.
We have a responsibility as leaders to be able to come together to discuss these issues and to find solutions that will bind our people together, that will unify our country, and that will give us a life cycle that is beyond the 5 years that we have established for ourselves.
Tumekuja pamoja na ndugu yangu Uhuru Kenyatta, tumeongea kwa kirefu na tumekubaliana ya kwamba tunataka kuunganisha Kenya iwe taifa moja, na tumesema mgawanyiko ambayo imekuwako tangu uhuru mpaka leo itakwisha hapa na sisi.
And so history stretches into the present, not closed, not concluded, not complete. Because some lives in the history are not measured by the final chapters, but by the continuous presence, by endurance, by the ability to remain visible in the national story for decades without disappearing into it. And when Kenya one day looks back across its long political journey, it will remember the long persistence of a man who stayed in the struggle across generations, across eras, across storms. A man whose story is not finished, only still unfolding.